Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you. Welcome to my...
So guys, recently I was on one of my favorite websites,
which is w.reddit.com. And for some reason, on reddit.com, I am subscribed, I'm a member of the stupidest webpage on the online platform of the internet. I cannot believe this is a thing that people still are interested in, but I'm talking about none other than the anarcho-capitalist subreddit. So mostly what we do on this channel, the channel of
Arun Brown,
is we look at sort of these right-wing weirdos on YouTube and so on, etc. This ideology is if like the Ninja Turtles goo fell on their ideology. Here's what that goo sounds like.
That is my own sperm.
What they're totally focused on now is that the vaccine, being asked to either take the vaccine or get a test every day is a total violation of their freedom and demands constant online attention and posts. He says, if your sense of safety is reliant on the violation of my freedom, you can F right on off. You can F right, let's just say F right off. My freedom is infinitely more important than your peace of mind. You know, what's fun about libertarians and especially anarcho-capitalism is it's just like, hey, take the next step on that. Just take the next step on that thought. If your sense of safety is reliant on the violation of my freedom, so you don't like your freedom violated, what about my freedom to not breathe in your virus breath? And they're like, and then they go like this. It's definitely the brattiest of the ideologies, which I think is maybe why, if I had to guess, the average age on this subreddit would be in between like 5 and 6. It's a lot of people who maybe haven't made their first friend yet. What? Which is, you know, I'm still working on that. I think what has always been fascinating about people who consider themselves to be ANCAPs is that it's pure fantasy. Like, they know that this is never going to happen. There's no path for this to happen. I mean, maybe like complete climate disaster or something. Maybe it's just like, oh, everything's falling apart and people are just kind of like eating each other's shoes or something. So it's pure fantasy. Like, if you're like a social democrat or whatever, you're like, yeah, like you can actually point to things that are going on right now. Oh, Finland has the best schooling, education. You know, blah, blah, blah has the best healthcare system. Da, 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 da. With these guys, it starts at, I saw Black Widow and I want the world to be like that. Okay, you do understand that if we had that kind of system, you would immediately, your children would be sold into slavery, right? Yeah, you heard me. I said Black Widow now.
Black Widow now.
It's the most action movie based of the political ideologies, which is why I'm on board. So of course they got to go after Gnome, I'm too stupid to understand anarcho-syndicalism. I don't know what that is. I don't know. And frankly, don't care. But so Gnome is kind of, you know, he's an anarchist like them, but he's kind of thought it through. He's given it more thought than like I just watched the third Die Hard movie. Noam Chomsky cavalierly, they're really pissed off at Gnome because remember their main cause is, which we'll see as it gets funnier, their main cause is vaccine mandates are tantrum time. The tantrum-inducing vaccine stuff. Noam Chomsky cavalierly stating unvaccinated Americans should be forcibly separated from society and starved. I mean, you still got to give it up to Gnome for this one because, you know, if you do the math, he's right. You're doing something dangerous. You're stuffing hospitals and you're spreading around a disease and making it mutate more for no reason, just because that's my identity. Yeah. Maybe you go off into a ranch or something. So this is great. The first comment. Insane, he used to be a lefty anarchist. Literally wrote the book on media and state manipulation. and he got brainwashed by COVID propaganda himself. What a clown. There is a lot of in these comments like, man, Gnome used to get it. He used to get it. But here's what Noam Chomsky said about anarcho-capitalism. Anarcho-capitalism, in my opinion, is a doctrinal system that, if ever implemented, would lead to forms of tyranny and oppression that have few counterparts in human history. There isn't the slightest possibility that its, in my view, horrendous ideas would be implemented because they would quickly destroy any society that made this colossal error. The idea of a, quote, free contract, unquote, between the ruler and his starving subject is a sick joke. It's a joke that sounds like this.
That is my own sperm.
Perhaps worth some moments in an academic seminar exploring the consequence of, in my view, absurd ideas, but nowhere else. They're also really pissed off about Sesame Street. This got 406. They're basically just conservatives. They're all just kind of whining about insignificant crap, like waste of time internet posting crap, but they're just like more crazy, like slightly more crazy about it. Elmo was Elmo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. What is he, a rat? Elmo was so happy to talk to Sanjay Gupta on the town hall Friday. Elmo learned that Elmo's friends can get the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, so whatever, he's doing some vaccine tweet. By the way, like Sesame Street did this in the 70s too, I think, with like whatever disease these little rat kids were spreading around to get vaccinated. This they've kind of always done this, but these guys are really pissed off, and they didn't have this on my COVID dystopia bingo board. This is the thing about this, is that they go over and over how tyrannical. This is a dystopia because there's vaccine mandates. This is tyrannical, man. However, they want to live in a society where they would all be slaves. They want to live in a world where basically like sheer force, whoever has like the bigger, like a private defense force, is king. So all of these guys would be immediately forced into work camps. But they're like, I got to get the Fauci ouchie. Also, they love Jordy Peterson. You might remember him from this drop.
Hi.
1,200 upvotes on this one. They love Jordy Peterman, the guy who is all about hierarchies, and they are anarchists. Anarchy is a society being freely constituted without authorities or a governing body. It may also refer to a society or group of people that entirely reject a set of hierarchy. They're really into private property, too. Private property is private property, even if you like or dislike the outcome. For libertarians. And one of the great trolls of the libertarians is a guy who I've mentioned before, Matt Brunig. I searched back and he has one of the funniest little owns and trolls for libertarians like this. And I'll just read this to you. Perhaps the most interesting thing about libertarian thought is that it has no way of coherently justifying the initial acquisition of property. So how do you get the property in the first place? How does something that was once unowned become owned without non-consensually destroying others' liberty? I mean, it is impossible. This means that libertarian systems of thought literally cannot get off the ground. They are stuck at time zero of hypothetical history with no way forward. In other words, like, how do you take that property at first? Oh, you have to keep it from other people, thus taking away their liberty to have that. Uh-oh. Our little ideology just ran into an irreconcilable problem. The other thing about this, too, is that it's always been, and I think we've always known this about this quote-unquote belief system, is it's a way for people to feel tough. You know, they're like, I would make it in the Mad Max world. Now, I do have a bit of a back problem, and my diarrhea medicine I would need to collect a lot of that, and my inhaler, and I would need to have all my anime nearby. And now we come to the funniest one. So this is The post, which has almost 1,000 upvotes, says when $15 an hour becomes a reality, and it has a picture of an automated fast food making robot. I mean, so somebody deleted the comment that this person is replying to, but I think you could get it. I think you could get what they might have been saying from what this person says. I fully grasp the irony of how anathema what I'm gonna say is to this sub's ethos, but you should absolutely inform your city or city's health department about that. Undercooked chicken Undercooked chicken is no joke. And if the health department is going to exist and draw salaries and benefits from the taxpayers anyway, may as well make them work for it. So somebody went to a restaurant, it sounds like, the guy who deleted his comment, because he's like, this doesn't serve the cause. So he deleted his comment. Sounds like he went to a fast food place and got sick from undercooked chicken. I want to live... I'm on the ANCAP message board, and I want to live in a world where everybody gets sick from undercooked food all the time. I love that. In the message board, where they're like, we got to get rid of the state and just have capitalism, this person's like, hey, that a capitalist entity made you very sick, and you need to go to the state. You need to go to the state to let them know. That person was doing this. So there's tons and tons of protest posts, like posts about protest. Like every other post is like 1,000 upvote protest thing, but they're all protesting the vaccine. It's always a protest, never a protest of like Nabisco or whatever crap or John Deere or any of these strikes that are going across the country. They don't care about that. The real tyranny is not that these people are working at jobs where they're told what to do all day and they have no bargaining power and da-da-da-da-da-da. That's somehow in these people's minds, no, that's not tyrannical. But getting a shot, I think also there's a lot of trolls on this thing, people who kind of like perfectly make fun of them. And one of the things they posted is a clip from the movie Falling Down, which I saw when I was probably too young to watch. I was just like, oh, that seems like a fun guy.
I want to know what's wrong with the street. See, I don't think anything's wrong with the street. I think you're just trying to justify your inflated budgets.
But somebody writes, what about my roads, though? Like, it seems like they're pretending to be one of these anarcho-capitalists, and then they post a video of Michael Douglas from this stupid movie from the 80s or 90s, I can't remember, where he goes around just like shooting at people and blowing things up because he kind of loses his mind. And it is kind of perfect because, like, yeah, this is your guy's fantasy. And they're like, that guy's not nice, though. This is a fine movie, but the main character isn't really someone to look up to. You mean the exact kind of society you guys are fantasizing about? One where people are doing this?
Everyone's scared.
All the time? So back to the automation thing. They're really obsessed on this board with, I don't know why, but this automated White Castle. There's like some robot that like deep fries onion rings, and they're like, wow, this is really something that we need to talk about for a while. And by the way, the title of this one, I mean, of course, look, we're dealing with the maximum age allowed on this thing is like 14. Once you're not 14 anymore, they like cut you off. But the headline to this like automated fast food place is pretty basic solution to people not working. Automation. So they're not celebrating automation as like, look, hey, this can save people time. They're saying it as if you don't want to work at White Castle, then we'll get a robot to replace you. Like it's a very kind of like angry, like I could see them pounding, like, by the way, they are eating, because when they saw this, they got a little hungry, so they went to get some onion rings. So they're pounding on their keyboard with onion ring dust. And there's a really interesting back and forth in this. One guy who has a lot of upvotes says, it's a great thing. I'm for automation and eliminating useless jobs that can be done by a machine. I agree. I actually agree with that. I'm hoping this will start pushing for more higher paying technical blue collar work. Why would it do that? Why would it do that? What does eliminating bad jobs, how would that immediately lead to higher paying technical blue collar work? There might be some people who are helping operate the robots. That would be about it for that. And this guy says, I wonder what would happen if we went full throttle down the automation rabbit hole. And this guy answers this. And again, this is on the anarcho-capitalist message board. Super cheap stuff. More time to spend with family and friends and appreciate some art. Good times. That would be communism. That would be, I don't know if these guys understand this, but using the robots to benefit everyone? By the way, this board, they hate anybody. They hate leftists. Look at this Big Bird, typical communist. It's very Muppet based. But this guy, he kind of stumbles on, what if the robots work to the benefit of everyone? It would be good if these robots that produce things, some might call them the means of producing things, were owned by the majority of people. You know what? I just came up with a new type of capitalism, guys. So there we go, guys. Just a look at a classic bunch of goofballs, and a very, I say let's try it. Let's try this just sort of Mad Max Fury Road type of economic and social system. We will need to figure out a way how to prevent ourselves from eating rotten chicken nugs, because that is the base of my diet. And so that's our one little flaw in this. But other than that, shipshape solid, I say.
Chicky nugs.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching my
corporate communism.
And don't forget to take your
Blue Chew.
And I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hey, guys. You're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Bookablega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away. And we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.